Hey everybody, welcome back to the tutorial. Welcome back to the video. Just had to complete this tutorial. I'm really trying to get over and done with this scalp hair. Like, I'm tired of this scalp hair. I'm tired. Okay, I just remade my own hair texture because I thought it was tea. Like, I wanted to do something a little different. Take a shot every time I make a new hair texture. Alright, so what I'm going to be going over is two things. As you can see, I imported a new mannequin from Roblox, and it's in the correct position and everything. I mean, I did move it forward because like it was really, the forehead is kind of thick. Oh, shout out to Thighs for this avatar. This is not my outfit. So basically what I'm going to be going over is what you do when you're done with your hair. Like when you've got the base of your hair, like the idea of your hair down, we just need some finishing touches. So I'm going to go over those finishing touches in this video. I was gonna do like the hair ends part separate from this, but I think I'm just gonna put it in one video because I can't really isolate it because I need to join the strands together before I do the ends. So we're going to do exactly that. We're gonna join the strands together. We can start off easy and simple with these two. So select your two strands and Control J, go into edit mode and join them together. That's literally it. But before you join them, make sure that the properties are the same. So the properties of this aren't the same because here I have target normal project and here I have nearest surface point. Also make sure the subdivision is the same. What you want to do is just make sure all the modifiers are the same, because if you don't and you join them together, what happens is that it'll take the modifiers of the highlighted object. So this plane will take this plane's modifiers. So we need to make sure we're all in check with the modifiers. If I change this back to nearest surface point, it got a little chopped, but so instead of changing this to nearest surface point, I actually changed this to target normal project because it just looked better. Doesn't really matter that much for this specific set of planes. I'm just gonna control shift select and Control J to join. I'm gonna go in flat mode because I can't really see if I'm not using flat mode. Oh, also make sure you have backface culling turned on because you don't want your hair to be the other way around. Select everything and click Alt N, recalculate outside. If it flips, select only the one that flipped and click Alt N flip. So now the normals are the same. I don't know if I mentioned in the last video, but I did add solidify, and now I have 8,000 triangles for the hair, and we need to get rid of half of that. So go into edit mode, and I think you should change your setting from texture to material just so you can see it better and you don't have to be in X-ray mode the whole time. But this is what we're working with. Join what you can right now. So select the two vertices from both planes and just join. So I don't know if you can see this actually, but let me just move this. Let me just move this, and you can see these are two separate planes. I can shift the end vertices from the two separate planes and I'm gonna merge them at the center, and that's what I'm gonna do for all the end vertices. might have to go in X-ray mode to select the ones underneath them. Okay, one thing that you should know is that sometimes there's some weird artifacting if you don't have the same amount of edges across all your planes. And I'm just going to delete this edge by clicking dissolve edges. And this is a vertex issue. Once you combine your things, you can literally just turn off these vertex creases. I wouldn't turn these ones off for now though. For now. Okay. This weird thing happened, but I kinda like it. And it's got something to do with the UVs, but I like how it looks like lifted. So I'm just going to change the other ones to match that. And once you join, it's much harder to like get your UVs like to look the same. I just need to mention that. Because when they were separate, you could edit them separately. You can't do that now. Like, that's not a thing anymore. So if you want to fix it, that's how you fix it. That lifted look was kind of cool though. So maybe I'm gonna like add it back in once I apply my subdivision. Because I can't do it right now. Can I? Oh, I can't. Yeah, I kind of can. Okay, I'll just do that then. I like the way it looks, so I'll leave it as that. A lot of like scalp hair is just you texturing and fixing UVs, so just like keep in mind if you don't do that a lot, it's your lucky day. It's got some movement now, which is cool. Anyway, we're gonna do we've done these, we've joined them, and it's now that many planes. When we optimize, we're going to edit the UVs some more, and we're gonna dissolve some edges so we can get everything under the 4,000 triangle limit. Now I'm just gonna move on to this top, like these top strips right here, and the ends are actually the last thing I'm going to do. Well, the edges are the last thing, but the ends are going to be the last thing I do here. We're gonna do these ones next because like this is like the body of the strands. We're gonna like join them up to like, I don't know, maybe like here, and then we'll just let it flow loosely. The ends are the second to the last thing I'm going to do. But yeah, just do these. Make sure like they're the same because I don't think my modifiers are the same for these. If I join them right now, it's gonna get messed up. So sometimes you do have to apply the shrink wrap. I doubt that will be the case here. Okay, maybe maybe not right now. I mean, I could do the vertex groups, but let's leave this for later. Let's do the back. Okay. The back is the next one to do. I'm actually gonna do this and this big strand because the thing. Yeah, I joined it, no issues. They both have the same shrink wrap and solidify and everything. And it looks like they're joined, but they're not. So we're gonna go into edit mode and we're still gonna do it. As you can see, they're still separate. So X-ray mode, and they're actually on the same position. Merge at center. Sometimes you shouldn't do this. Like there are certain cases where you shouldn't do this because it messes up your UVs. But if you don't want to do it, there's also a really easy way to fix it, and it's just you select. Okay, first of all, I have to move one of these out. If you don't want to join them together because they're messing up your UVs, select the two vertices that you're supposed to join, select S and select 0, and they're just gonna be at the same spot, but they're not actually merged. I prefer to merge them if possible, if it allows me. And if there's any issues with anything, honestly, I just edit the thing. If there's like harshness, if you notice a harshness in your texture, it might be because you merged it when you when you shouldn't have, or because you didn't merge it when you should have and you merged the other ones around it. So just make sure you're consistent with your merging. Like if you're gonna merge, and if you're not going to merge, don't merge. I'm just gonna like zoom in so I can select these and merge them. Yep. And yeah, with this like middle bit over here, you don't really have to do it cleanly, because usually I collapse everything to the center. I mean, you'll see, but I think this is fine. I don't think it's horrible. Let's add this one to this big piece. This shifts like this and Control J. Now we'll start over again. Start from the bottom, probably. I think it's easier. There's gonna be some edges that you cannot merge because you don't have the loop cut on the plane next to it. You can either dissolve them or add a loop cut on the plane next to it. It depends on where you're at. I think I'm gonna dissolve it just because I need triangles anyway. And to be fair, it wasn't really needed, I'm not gonna lie. Just gonna move this back here. Okay, there's another one, but I'm gonna leave that for now and I'll show you how I handle it later. You might find some issues with the shrink wrap, and like I said, it's not gonna be like, it's not a big deal. Just try as much as possible to not like mess the texture up like really crazily right now, and we'll fix it later, hopefully. This pointy bit, what I usually do is I just click it and I merge it at center, but obviously there's no reason to do that right now since I already merged it earlier. If you have like a more like complex hair, it might look better if you did do that, but like I said, it was pretty clean to start with, so I don't need to merge everything in the middle. I don't actually know if that's like a best practice or anything. That's just what I do. It's probably not a best practice, but you know. Speaking of best practices, make sure to check your topology before you mess with the shrink wrap and everything, because once you apply the shrink wrap, it like, even though it does shrink wrap, it still shrink wraps, right? Because that's the whole point of the modifier. You can still have your hair not looking smooth, so just make sure you actually look at the topology and everything. Try it as much as possible to not have any dents unless you need to for some reason, like unless you have like a specific hairstyle that requires the dents. And if you're coming to this place now where there's this glitch because we go from having a complete edge loop to having just one edge with nothing to join it with, what I usually do to save out on triangles, which I don't really need to do here because it's only 2 faces, but if I had like tons of faces and I didn't want to add an edge loop through everything, I just use the knife tool. Use the knife tool. Knife tool is your best friend, and you're gonna see that later. Knife tool, select these, merge them, and it does that. The knife tool does mess up your UVs a little bit, I'm not gonna lie to you. What I would do is select that face and like the adjacent faces where there are issues, go into UV editing and attempt to fix that. It's usually caused by the UVs just not being straight, but sometimes it's not. That's not the reason, and it's simply just because of the knife tool. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I might just add another cut, since I'm like, it's noticeable because I only have 3 rows of faces. If I already applied my subdivision, let's say, and I had like 16 rows and I did the knife tool thing, it's gonna be barely visible. And we actually use the knife tool for the ends, and sometimes you can tell with the ends when the UVs are messed up, but the average scalp hair buyer isn't going to be able to tell. You can tell right now because, like I said, it's only 3 faces. If anything, I'm just gonna fix it when I apply my modifiers. I have to remember to move this out because the shrink wrap made a dent in it, but whatever. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete this solidify modifier, and that part is see-through now, and I'm gonna join these two. Oh my god, okay, I just realized what the issue was. It's because the shrink wrap vertex groups are not the same name, so I'm just gonna rename this one to also be stick to the scalp. I don't know why I didn't make it that before. So if I join them, now one doesn't deform. So all I had to do was change the vertex group to make sure they share the same group name. This usually doesn't happen because I usually just don't name my vertex groups and they automatically share the same group name because they're just called group. But I did name it this time and I did make that mistake, so that's completely on me. You don't have to include it. This is a really simple straight hair, so like we're not really crazy for vertices right now. This is what it looks like from the side without solidify, and this is what it would look like with solidify. Like it's not see-through, you can see. So let's get it. I'm going to add a solidify modifier. I'm gonna add a solidify modifier and I'm going to add it. Okay, so it turns out you actually can't use solidify for this, so they got me messed up. We'll make it thicker later. In the meantime, join these two together and we're just gonna merge the vertices like we've been doing before. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, instead of merging these vertices, because I'm trying to have the solidify on this one but not on this one, and I also don't want to duplicate the plane later because it's going to make my life really hard if I do that for the entire, like the larger part of the hair. I'm just gonna do it separately and I'm gonna use the method, select both of them, don't join them, go into edit mode and just scale them so they're as close as possible without looking like rough. Okay, so S0, and they're in the same spot. Some of these, like I said, they don't have corresponding like loops, so you just gotta make do. S0, 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 and right now everything is smooth. So this is just me making sure that everything is smooth. But as you can see, the dent from the shrink wrap is still there. Okay, so what I'm just gonna do is apply the first 2 subdivisions because that's really what we need to apply right now. And yeah, that's what we get. And actually I would start dissolving the edges before we apply the shrink wrap. And honestly, for this one in specific, do we need to apply the shrink wrap right now? I don't think so. So before we apply anything else, start with the subdivision and start getting rid of some edge loops. We probably should also apply the subdivision here. And I didn't join them, I just selected both of them at the same time. And I can see in edit mode. And usually when I dissolve edges, I just dissolve like alternating. So, you know, skip one row, select the next one, skip one row, select the next one. So I didn't do the first row. Make sure to check multiple angles or whatever. So I can scale these to make sure they're together. I'll just get rid of this one. SZ0. Get rid of this row. And now they're not really like symmetrical, so I'm just gonna go like, I'm gonna stop for now on this and I'll continue doing this one. And I'm literally selecting every other row. Every other row. To here. And I'm going to remove the vertex influence. Okay. I had to take a long break, y'all. Like, okay, so let's get on to the ends. Before I like fix all this stuff with the shrink wrap and like the dent, I'm just gonna do the ends. I have the mirror modifier on. It'll make things a lot quicker. So how do I do the ends? Well, I use two things. I use the knife tool, and I also use the splitting, like I split the vertices. So what I do is that I'm just gonna do some straight ends here. I start with the knife tool, and I for example, I take this knife tool, I do like this, and I select this new like edge I just created and click V to split it, to rip it, and now I have this smaller section. I select those two and I just merge them like that, and I do that along the length of hair, along the entire bottom. Sometimes I go up for some more variation. I think it's really important to have variation, but if you don't want to have variation, you can just make it so like only this first row, like what I did, but only this first row, and it'll look something like this. I'm going to show on the screen. It'll look something like this. But if you want to have something that looks something like this, we're going to have to rip it higher, and I'm just gonna click this like this, and I'm gonna click V. So as you can see, that's much higher, and then I'm gonna merge these. So that's basically what we're doing. We're creating variation, and we're going to split the sections that we already have into two. Sometimes depending on the size of the plane, you can do more or less, or depending on the size of the ends, but just be careful to not split it too much, because we still have to be wary of the triangles, and especially because this plane has solidify on it. We do have to be wary then. So sometimes I don't do it like all the way up, and I do it like in the middle, and I just click enter, and it creates like a connection. So you can do that as well, but just be careful, because doing that might mess up your UVs. Keyword might. I could also move these around for some like movement with my hair ends. Since this is a straight hair, I don't really need movement, but like if I was doing like a body wave, I need to have movement. And to be fair, that would already be done within the actual mesh before we did the ends. So if I was doing a wavy hair, I would have already like moved it like something like this, but not like this, but you get what I mean. Since we're doing a straight hair, I kept everything straight. Don't wait until you do the ends to add the movement in, because it's going to be a lot harder when you're working after you've already applied your subdivision, after you've already cut up all the ends. It's going to be a lot harder to work with. I just started falling sick, and I've done so many things to like stop the sickness from coming in. I did a face steam, I did a hot shower, okay. I'm drinking a lemon tea right now, and yeah, I'm just trying to prevent myself from becoming like fully blown like sick. Yeah, that's just life. That's what I have to deal with. If you can't see because your texture is black and your blender is also black, you should turn it off. Just turn off the texture and just cut it up. Continue to cut it up. Select merge at center. And the process is a little bit repetitive, but I mean, it's scalp hair. Sometimes you might have this issue when you rip. You can just join these back together, it doesn't matter. Depending on the hairstyle I'm doing, sometimes I don't merge these because the blunt ends might be a better look, but I'm trying to do completely straight tapered ends, so I'm trying to have it look like a bust down too. Sometimes if you want like a more, like I guess a quote-unquote natural look, you might make the tapers go up here so it looks more like natural hair. But you know how bust downs look, they're like super thick, there's not really that much like variation at the ends. That's what I'm trying to do. Like I said, if you're not already making something super high poly, you probably should do more knives. Like instead of doing one split per face, I would do like 2 or 3. But because I'm gonna repeat this process for the front pieces and both of these front pieces, I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. But also make sure to check outside of edit mode to see if everything is like looking cute. You don't want it to look like super symmetrical, because like when you put on the texture it looks less obvious, but it can still look goofy when you have these like larger cuts. So just be mindful of the large cuts. What I'm actually gonna do is dissolve this edge over here. Let me put it in the texture just to see how it looks. Okay, it looks fine. Honestly, I might do this one too. It would probably make more sense to do this after I apply the that doesn't even look half bad. It might make more sense to do it after I apply the shrink wrap, but those are just some vertex removal. Now we have 1,500, which isn't horrible. Considering we're gonna be deleting the scalp, that's not bad at all. If you're new to scalp, just wait until you start making curly hairs. You're gonna lose your mind. My friend Kire, the owner of State of Mind, she's so good at curly hairs. I don't know how she does it. I cannot for the life of me optimize curly hairs. And sometimes when I'm making a hair, I just know, like, even before I finish, I already know, like, oh no, I cannot optimize this, and I just give up. Looking cute. Okay, knife tool. Thank you. Knife tool, thank you. I'm gonna turn off the texture again because I can't see. If you split without using the knife tool, so if you just hit V to rip it, it's not gonna create it's not gonna create more triangles because you're not making anything new. If you do use the knife tool, just to be clear, you are gonna be making more triangles. Your poly count is going to go high. So be careful with a knife tool, don't go too crazy. Like I said earlier, if you were paying attention, did not mean to do that either. Okay, make sure when you rip, you only rip to like one vertex. I don't know how I didn't mention that. So I might do that. I probably won't. Actually I will. So I might do that and then move this so it just doesn't. But I didn't merge it, as you can see. If I add another knife, let's just say up to here. Select this vertex and rip it. I can have that blunt. I don't actually like how that looks though. So I'm gonna do this like this. To be fair, it is better if you merge it, simply because of the fact that if you don't merge it, it's gonna create more triangles. But I'm just letting you know, like, you don't have to merge it all the time. And like I said, the ends of the hair are at such a small scale that it will barely be noticeable if you, I mean, it'll be noticeable if you zoom in, but it might be worth it for the look. Select the vertex, feed to rip, and move it away. Oh, it's the direction. Knife tool. As you can see, every time I split, it basically makes like 3 faces. If I merge, it becomes 2. So I mean, every time I rip, not split. Okay, whatever. Merge. Probably make these thinner. So if you want to save out on your triangles, you should merge them. Sometimes it's better if you don't though, because you might just be working with something different. Something hello, yeah, hello, this and that. What am I talking about? Knife. Do this. What? And do this. Yep. V. You should check every now and then just to make sure you didn't do something that messed up your textures. Sometimes when I'm trying to use fly mode, I miss the shift button and I just press F, which, as you know, can be really disastrous if you don't catch it on time. For example, if I was doing this and I clicked F, it would do that, right? And if I somehow miss it, trying to resolve that, to be fair, it's pretty quick if you know where it is. I think one time I was making a scalp hair and I accidentally like duplicated the entire hair and I did not realize it, and the hair was just like way too many triangles. I was like, what the flip? It's causing this many triangles. The ends are not thin at all. Like if I was doing bangs, like it would be a completely different ballpark. The triangles would skyrocket. But I mean, I've done bangs before and I had to, like, because the triangles were so high, I had to make the ends a bob instead of straight. I actually did want to do straight ends, but it was too high for triangles to do, which is completely fine. Like the hair became one of my best selling hairs and it still gets sales to this day. So sometimes mishaps are good, sometimes they're not though. So another thing I want to mention is that sometimes to solidify, like I have the solidify set to that, right? Sometimes the solidify makes it look like, makes the ends look bad. You just have to change the thickness and you're gonna be good. Okay, this is what it looks like, and I would prefer to actually raise the height of some of these and also merge these. I don't think these look the best, so I'm just gonna merge these and I'm gonna raise the height. of some of these, so it's just not like super uniform. That's the last thing you want it to look like. You also don't want it to look like super thin either. But yeah, I'm not trying to be too detailed because I'm not the best with optimizing triangles, like I said, and also we don't have the triangles to optimize, so yeah, this is super gappy, so I'm just gonna close that up. Okay, does it look horrible? No, I mean it definitely doesn't look horrible, but that is subjective. That's the back of the hair, and like with real life, it's not my problem. We're gonna do the front now. I'll tell you why I fell sick again in the middle of recording this. So please have some grace. I'm so tired every time. I'm always falling sick. Anyway, I've just done the front and I'm just gonna fix the back right now. It's still pointy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna apply the shrink wrap and fix it now. And we're just gonna get into some more optimizing. So I'm gonna apply my subdivision on this front and edit it. Also, I'm not sure if I mentioned before, but before you apply subdivisions, it's really like wise to make duplicates, just because you might mess up, and when you mess up you can't really go back after you apply the modifier. Like, you really want to have extras just in case. Honestly, the hair is pretty much done, so I'm gonna apply this shrink wrap here and move some of the vertices. I'm gonna continue to optimize just so there's less triangles. Pertaining to the scalp base, since we already have it unwrapped, we can just come here and select everything around the edges. Eat extrude, turn off proportional editing, and M to merge at the center. And that's how we create that. Yeah, that's how we do that. I'm going to reduce some more vertices, and then I'm gonna duplicate it and like show you that process. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could have like made this entire hair, this front piece with one piece of hair instead of two. It'll probably be easier on me, but whatever. We just sit this back. Times when I dissolve edges, I do them, but I deselect some sensitive areas and just dissolve the rest. However, please be careful because this could mess up your UVs. So sometimes I do that. Just gonna Okay, in order to continue optimizing now, I'm going to apply all my modifiers. If you're not too confident and you're just starting out, I recommend making a duplicate right now. So just select everything in Shift D to a new collection. And everything just moved, just like hide that whole collection. And now I'm going to apply my shrink wrap and mirror here. Since I applied all the shrink wrap, I can now directly edit the scalp base, and this is where I delete most of the scalp, so make sure everything like shrink wrap related is applied. Select the middle and select the edges with Control Numpad Plus. And I just select like up to like the visible part, and I invert the selection so it's everything else basically. And I would just like straight up delete it like that. So that's the only part of the scalp that's visible. And if you need more triangles, you can go ahead and delete more of the loops. But I'm good for now. When I duplicate this, I'll see if I do need more triangles. I don't think I will. So I'm gonna like make this entire first part 2D, and I'm just gonna like select the hair strand, and you can see where that is. So if I click H, that's just that first hair strand. That's the only thing I'm gonna be making visible, because we don't need to see the secondary hair strand. If you want to do both and then optimize further, it's your choice, but I'm not gonna be doing that. So I'm just gonna be doing this. I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna actually separate it to a different one, and I'm going to move it like literally like an inch, like that, and I can even make it a smaller inch like this. And Alt N, flip the normals. So now if I look at it from the side, it will be flipped. Hold up. Oh, I can't select it. Okay, yeah. And I forgot to mirror this, so I need to mirror it. Mirror. Empty. Yep. And so now if I look at it from the side, there's only one strip of hair. However, that's all that needs to be visible because the head is going to be there anyway. Or you can do both if you want. Actually, I think I will either way. I think I'm going to like make some of this visible too. Like that much. And I'm going to deselect all of these. I'm going to basically do what I do. Duplicate, separate. I'm also going to move it up just because I don't like that hole. I think that looks fine. If I just hide, you can see what we're working with. We have 4,328 triangles, so we just need to get rid of 328 triangles. I'm gonna delete this top here and move this up because we cannot have a hole. Let me change my background to black so to white so I can see it better. Technically there's still a hole, but y'all, I'm tired. Okay. At this point, you could just continue to optimize, and it'll be kind of easier since we deleted the scalp underneath. Just make sure to stay checking your hair from multiple angles and everything, just to make sure there's no glaring issues, right? Like here. It should be entirely in the scalp. In the hair, not the scalp. And I've just done that. We still have to get rid of 100 vertices, so you can probably, this is 1,269. Okay. I like to keep the top smooth just because I don't like the top looking choppy. If I had a more complex hair, I would probably be decimating, but since the hair is relatively simple, I don't think there's a need for all that. Just a little bit more to go. Where will I decimate? Just like pick where to optimize from. Oh, also remember to check to make sure there's no clipping. Whoops. The hair is now under the triangle limit. I'm not gonna lie, it looks a little bit choppy, but to be fair, that's my fault. I should not have done two layers worth of hair. Like, you can't even see it, so I just wasted my time. But it's fine. Sometimes you get weird artifacts, just use the weighted normal modifier and it fixes it really quickly. Yeah, I think it's alright. Let me just continue to fix. I think it's fine, honestly. Next time, I'm just not gonna bother with this, because the whole reason that it's a bit choppy up at the top. I had to decimate a lot at the top is because I've got 2 sets of tapered ends. If I just had one, or maybe if I did less for this set, I would not have had to dissolve as much on the top. And like when you make scalp hair, you just have to think about these things. Like I only did this twice because I thought, okay, it would look more visible, if like it would look like more detailed. Yeah, I should have thought about it. It's not even visible. Okay, so the hair is basically done. What I'm going to show you now is I'm going to teach you how to melt the lace, so the lace is like really smooth. We're going to use the data transfer modifier, and we're going to apply it to the scalp base that we cut up. So look for this data transfer modifier. I'm on Blender 5.1 now, by the way, just to clarify. Source, set the source to the head, like the default head that we imported with the toolbox add-on. Set base corner data on and give it custom normals. When you give it custom normals, you either set it to nearest face interpolated, or let me turn off cavity actually so you can see this. Okay, you can't even see it. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looked like after. Before, after, before, after. So like you can see that like the shadows from the before would have made it really clear that like there was a lace, but basically what this does is remove the shadows. Well, it changes the normals, but it removes those shadows and makes it like melt. Obviously if you use this with Cheek's head, like you're not gonna, I mean there'll be a difference, but Cheek's head is always gonna be smaller. Like no matter what, Cheek's head is gonna be smaller than the regular head, so it's not gonna be like a complete seamless thing. But if I did use it with like the regular head, it's gonna be seamless. You can't tell that it's seamless because it's a different skin color, but that's what it does. That's what it does. And that's basically it. Like we're done. We're done. Select everything and file, export, and export it as an OBJ. Save it to your computer, and I'm going to show you how I load it up in Roblox Studio. Okay, so we're in Roblox Studio right now, and I'm just going to show you a really quick way to like upload. Just check everything's in place. So first things first, make sure you have a character loading plugin. This one is, ooh, the face. Okay, this one is good because you can spawn it at origin. And I'm just gonna spawn I'm gonna spawn this character actually. Wait, not R6, R15. Oh my gosh, I messed up already. And the reason I'm spawning him is because he got the he has the default head, so you know. Okay, 3, yeah, that's pretty much it. So 030, that's our origin, right? What we need to do now is probably take off his stuff, and that's why I need to fit my scalp onto the default head. Look for mesh part. It's right here. Add a new mesh part. Click this folder over here and you open your scalp hair OBJ that you exported. And you actually, for the first time, you do want to click yes. So click yes. It'll automatically go to the position that we have. And as you can see, because we spawned him at origin, everything's in the right position. But as you can also see, the scalp is looking a little fat. It's looking a little thick at the front. I just want to make sure that's not on my end. So I'm gonna move it some more back, and I'm also gonna upload a quick texture. It's not gonna be like the actual texture. I just wanna be able to see the hair and not have it be gray. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I've got it as seamless as possible right now with the scalp configuration that we're working with the scalper that we're working with. So I'm just gonna click to my UGC making plugin. Anyone that you use works, but I use this one, this UGC plugin, and then make it an accessory. Right off the bat, there's no issues really, except maybe like that gap there if you're looking really closely. But I'm just gonna export my texture and I'll be back with my correct texture. Okay, so I just got an existing textures for one of my existing hairs, which is not the same one I used, but still like similar. And I've now noticed that when I go far away, you can see a lot of brown there, and I don't really want that. And it's a result of UVs. So if you go in Blender and you scale your UVs on the x-axis, it fixes it. And this part is also way too wide, so I'm also going to fix the part. That's not the part I want to talk about though. Character inserter, and insert your avatar, insert anybody's avatar. I'm gonna insert my avatar because I have cheeks head. Oh no, they messed up my face. They messed up my face. No. I just had to reconvene because they did that update with the faces and I wasn't sure if my scalps would fit, but I think they're gonna fit. So, yeah, we're here. And I'm just gonna fix like some stuff. I'm gonna bring the swoop down so it completely covers his skin. And yeah. Okay, so I fixed all the issues. I'm just gonna re-import it. Import the mesh part here. Okay, cute. I already made all my textures, so what I'm gonna do first is make the thumbnail. And now I'm gonna change the textures to the textures that I used for the actual modeling. Well, make sure when you duplicate that you're selecting the actual accessory, not the handle. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I've done all the hair textures. I did black, brown, and blonde. So at this point you're good to go. Like you can stop watching now because that's the end of this part. But I'll be back with more parts. And I'm gonna be doing like a scalp texture tutorial, another scalp texture tutorial for buns and ponytails, you know what I mean, like the actual, yeah. Gonna be doing that, and then I'm gonna be doing more like hair mesh tutorials, just like hair ideas, like buns. I'm gonna be doing braids. I'm gonna do like a flipped like bob, and you know what I mean. And then I'm gonna stop making videos because everything's gonna be exclusive on my Ko-fi. So subscribe to my Ko-fi if you want like extra tutorials. The reason that those extra tutorials are on my Ko-fi is because they're extra tutorials. Like, you don't need them. Basically, the free YouTube series is like the foundation, and you can just go off from there. Like, you don't actually need the extra stuff, but the basics are done. If you want to, like, if you're really struggling and you really need extra help, on my Ko-fi I'm gonna be making like full length videos from start to finish. No talking, but also no like cutting, so you can literally watch every single thing I do. And it's not gonna be sped up or anything, so it's like a watch me mesh. And then I'm gonna be doing a tutorial for advanced hair textures, quote unquote advanced. It's gonna be like I'm just gonna put examples on the screen. I'm gonna be doing tutorials for these. I could do requests. I could do that. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I'm just gonna upload these, and you can go buy them at Adoreless. That's me. I'm not taking commissions right now, but I will be taking commissions eventually. Join my Discord too, because I do sometimes say stuff over on there. So, in order to not miss out on anything, go to my Discord. Thank you. What am I gonna call this hair? Tatiana? Tatiana. Bust down swoop.